feel free at any point in these next 7 actions to take a photo of every single one if you want, or ask a question. So the first action I want you to take on Monday morning, because I'm giving you tomorrow, I'm giving you Saturday, I'm giving you Sunday off. So please, on Monday, I want you first of all to get specific on your ideal customers. I want you to be able to tell me or someone else exactly who you're targeting. Because if you're making content for everyone, you're making content for no one. So how do we do this then? There's 4 things I want you to focus on. The first is the demographics. This is like level 1. This is the kind of stuff you'll see in the most basic of marketing classes. Age, gender, standard, location, pretty important, especially if you only serve a local area. Job, household income, again, trying to figure them out roughly. Who's your ideal customer? Or based on experience with your current customers, just trying to figure out roughly who they are. And then if you work in B2B, the role, the industry, and the company size of the people that you're working with. It just helps you put it in your mind. That's basic. That's level 1. Next is the behavior. I want you to literally write down the questions, not now, but write down the questions and just answer them, whether you write them down or just say them to yourself. What does your ideal customer want? So now you've said, what do they want? So now you can focus, okay, for some of our content, therefore, is energy efficiency. Instantly you have a niche, but you're not throwing out your entire audience itself. What brands do they like? By knowing a brand they like, you can then figure out what other brands they may like. Where do they currently shop? What triggers their search? So it's things that get you in the mindset of whenever they're ready to buy something or do something, how are they currently finding that? Then the 2 hacks at the bottom are, first of all, for anyone who has like a loyal customer base, try think, if you haven't already before, what do your most loyal customers have in common? So the people that keep coming back to you no matter what. Other examples could be speed, like efficiency, could be price, not that you want to compete on price, but you could be a best value. And then another really great hack is your competitors' customers. So who's engaging with your closest competitors? So find other people in your industry, go to their Facebook, go to their Instagram, and therefore go to their comment section, Google them, go to their reviews. Look at ways people are complaining or talking about their business. You might find some content ideas or ways to stand out in that. Next, I want you to identify for those people, whether it's one specific customer to start or it's a couple, maybe just keep it to 1 to 3 to start just because you're getting new to it. I want you to identify their main problems and pain points. So a really generic and classic for the last couple of years example of knowing you've done this is this phrase here. I solve, whatever the problem is, for whoever the person or company is by doing whatever you guys do. So ways to do that for anyone who maybe can't, that was pretty slick by the way, so fair play. But for anyone, actually wait, I think there you go. I know these are actually fake £20 notes, but yeah, I'll give you one later on. So the first step, whenever I went to London, I got these business cards done where there's like a business card in the middle, so you hand someone 20 quid. And whenever I went through, I know everyone's been stealing this, whenever I went through London airport, I thought if they stop me and see these, it's like, this is game over. But it was good because they just took one of them and said, be on your way. Just kidding. So the way to do this would be, if you're not as slick at doing that, is ask your existing customers. So if you have existing customers, when's the last time you spoke to them? Next, look for complaints online. So are there any insightful 1 or 2, maybe 3-star reviews from your competitors? So this is, again, if you're not necessarily looking at your own customers, but you have a bigger company in your industry, look at their 1-star reviews. What are people complaining about? You can learn a lot from what they're complaining about elsewhere. And then go to forums and social media. So maybe a viral video in your niche. Look up videos in your niche, Facebook groups, Reddit threads. You can find out a lot about where people are talking about the rest of your industry. Next, I want you to study what the big players are doing. So there's 4 ways to do that as well. So the first is the content format. So whenever you're looking at big players, people in your industry doing similar things, the big players will obviously differ depending on who you are and who you serve, but look at their content format. So what videos are they making? Maybe write down 10 or 20 of their videos and just go through each of these. So what type of video are they making? Is it talking to camera? Is it showing the product? How long are they? Do they use the same kind of hook, the same text on screen? Do the videos look familiar? Colors, fonts, do you know it's their video immediately? Highest performing content, simple. Look at their outliers, go to their page, their highest viewed videos. What do those have in common? Just dissect down and think, what's made so many of their videos go so big? Why can't you have that? Then again, the hacks at the bottom. So look for the gaps they're leaving. So whenever you look at all their content, think, well, what are they missing? Because if you are working in your industry, you theoretically should be an expert then. So you should be able to look in and amongst and find opportunities. And then the evolution over time, one thing I always love to show people is like, go back to the earliest content of that business and look at their content. Does everyone know who Mr. Beast is? Yeah? Go back to Mr. Beast's first video. He wasn't blowing up £1 million buildings or doing $1 million a day show for Amazon. He was in his room saying Logan Paul 100,000 times. So sometimes we compare ourselves to where our competitors are now after tens of thousands of pounds of investment or whatever, or 100 videos in their journey, as opposed to, well, what did they do on day one? Because that's where we are by comparison, technically. One really useful way of then taking all that information and turning it into video topics is this. This is a way how to turn one topic for a video into 15 videos. So you take a video topic, energy efficiency, perfect example, energy efficiency for business or whatever, or properties, okay? Then you're gonna take 3 pillars off the back of that. So the 3 is just an example, because you could go infinitely. So a pillar is like a concept for a video, so myth busting. Here's the top 5 myths about energy efficiency for property management. The biggest mistakes. Here is, the biggest mistakes people make when thinking about energy efficiency for their property. Industry updates. Did you know there's been a new law introduced by the UK government about energy efficiency in properties? See what I mean? So there's one topic, is already 3 videos, okay? Within each of those, it's then about the format, so how you present that. So green screen content, you ever seen those videos where there's an article behind the person and they're kind of recording, pointing back at like an article? That's the type of content. Talking head, filming yourself, tripod or holding it up, talking about those. The 5th step, which is about hooks. So I'll talk about that while I'm doing this. So you have to then implement a repeatable video format, because until you are at the 5th step where you're, let's be real, probably bringing in someone to do your content for you, because you're really starting to expand and focus on the business as opposed to balancing the two. The hook, for example, just to say really quickly, is actually the least important part of your content. Now, that sounds counterproductive because everyone says hook, hook, hook. So a hook would be the start of a video, something that makes you want to watch the rest of the video. So a hook is technically the first 3 seconds of a video. If you watch beyond that, then you're beyond the hook. The 4 to 6 seconds is like the rehook, but yeah, don't want to get too technical. Gotta get the second textbook out then. But so like the hook is the least important part, because if you stop someone, like you said, with a scare tactic, like here's why you're gonna go bust if you don't invest in your kid's pension today. If you do something like that, say I get you to stop on pension tips for kids or whatever, if I don't deliver you value to keep you watching for the rest of the minute video, why did I stop you? What was the point? Right? So that's the whole point of this. You have to make sure that the main meat and potatoes is the best part of the video. You will honestly find the more you do videos, the hook becomes second nature. So to answer your point, I would just flip it the other way. So instead of going, here's the doomsday situation, you sell the utopia. You sell the idea of, well, if everything goes perfectly with your energy efficiency for property management, didn't even stutter on that one, then here's what it could look like if you do these things. And then, we're almost done. 2 steps left. This one's really simple. Goes back to your point at the back there. Any background, simple DJI mic, whatever phone you've got is probably new enough. So I just want to say minimum viable setup. So this is your off-platform asset. Asterisk, have not rebranded this to something sexier. Need something that kind of flows off the tongue a bit better. Off-platform asset sounds like BP owns it and it's about to spill oil all over your hopes and ambitions. But the way I see it is social media will always be a rented asset. Your social media eyes can be taken from you in as little as a fake copyright strike, okay? So your bridge is the lead magnet, because we're trying to get people to something you do own. An email list, a list of phone numbers, even people coming to events, something. Email list is the most like widely used one. So what's a lead magnet? It adds value and captures information. Guides, resources, landing page, offers, quizzes, free training, audits, okay? You're taking someone from social media to go, here's a video. If you want some more, here's a free guide. Like, what is that then? Blogs. It could be you obviously own your website, unless it's built a certain way. Newsletters, WhatsApp groups, communities, podcasts, something that you own, something you have the ownership of. That should be as part of, obviously, apart from getting sales, your goal of doing social media. Done. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I do appreciate it.